everybody, and welcome back to the Brass Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Christian. Alongside me is
Espen.
And today, you might have seen the little bit of a weird thumbnail, and it came up by our director today, Mike. And the episode is called "What Makes Magic Magical?" And so, in this episode, we're gonna talk about a few different things. Talk about some aspects of magic we like. Bring up some aspects of magic we think need some improvement, and pretty much just gush a little bit. This is a little bit of a more relaxed episode as compared to our last episode where we kind of went in depth about CEDH and stuff. So the ultimate question to begin an episode like this, Espen, what does magic mean to you?
Magic is something that like I can use to relax and like escape reality, and also like I just really like playing games and also socializing with my friends, which is why I play Commander so much, is because you get to hang out with your friends, play a fun card game, and like also how I met you was through Magic, and that's like a great way, is going to a local game store and meeting new people, meeting friends over a game that everyone really relates to and everyone like plays, and it's really cool. And you can also get some really cool conversations about it. So like Magic really brings people together over this game of cardboard per se.
Absolutely.
But like, and it's just amazing to see that, because you don't see like any other like sort of games like bring together people as Magic can. And Magic is just, I guess it's more meaningful to me since like I made some of the best friends in the world through it. So Magic holds a very special place in my heart. What does Magic mean to you, Christian?
So a lot of the same about what Magic means to you. A lot of people say a lot of the same things. It's a great place to make friends. It's a great place to have some good competition. Magic in general, it's something that's been a pillar of my life for many years now. I mean, through many tough times in my life, I've played Magic, and you know, they say that if you play Magic, you won't have money for drugs. And I mean, that statement is so true. I mean, the cost of this game alone is whew. But nevertheless, it's a good hobby. And unlike most hobbies, I mean, this hobby, the investment can really go a long way. I mean, in my backpack alone, I probably have like a couple grand's worth of cards between my CDH deck, my Modern deck, my Pioneer decks that I have two now. So
aren't you cool?
Yeah. So it's crazy how much money we put into this card game, and but I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I just don't think you should overextend yourself. And there's a quick point I wanted to make. There is a company that is giving out lines of credit to purchase Magic cards. Please do not do that. Do not take out a loan to buy Magic cards. That is probably one of the dumbest things that you could do. And I don't use that word very lightly. That is a dumb thing to do. And I imagine I haven't looked at it personally. I've only seen people tweeting about it on Twitter. And I imagine that the interest rate has to be pretty high that you have to pay back. So you're going to be paying back a lot over time. Don't overextend yourself financially to play this card game. I am a big believer with playing within your own means. Don't purchase cards you can't afford. Don't make investments in Magic that you cannot afford. Play within your means. And you might be a big power player, but you can be a big power player and play formats such as Pauper or build a budget EDH decks, because some budget EDH decks can be extremely powerful. So it's really important to me, and probably to Espen, if I had to take a guess, that we just stress play within your means.
Yeah, that is so true. And actually, last night built a Commander deck.
Yeah,
night that was went out, like dropped like maybe $30.
3260.
Yeah, 3260 in the dark or on the dot, and just some random tap plans to build a 5-color deck, which we might cover in the future. It might be built still. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, definitely potential for an episode on that. But yeah, just again, play within your means. Don't overextend yourself. At the end of the day, rent is more important than Magic. Bills, your health insurance is more important than Magic.
Of course.
Everything that you pay that helps you live. Food is more important than Magic. I know we joke a lot about, spending our rent money and our food money on Magic. But please don't do that. Make sure that you can live before you can play a card game. Mm-hmm. So something else that we wanted to cover is something that it's in a weird place right now, I think, and that's local game stores. Now, I think I can speak for Espen by saying this, we are huge fans of local game stores. Huge. Part of doing this channel was to kind of build towards doing something like that in our hometown. Mm-hmm. And, well, local game stores are this weird area where it's like sometimes Wizards throws them a bone, then sometimes Wizards doesn't. So we just wanted to stress the importance of local game stores because local game stores were and still should be treated as a pillar of this game. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's important.
It's very important. Whenever I need a card, one of my good friends says, go to the internet. You can find all the cards there. But for me, I'm just like, no, I want to go out. I want to find them at a local game store to support them, which is where I get most of my cards. Unless it's like a very niche card, you can't find it anywhere. But other than that, I always try to get most of my cards from local game stores. And like sometimes like a card will be more expensive, but like I'll buy it because I know I'm supporting something for a good cause. Because I believe that, and Christian said this also, that local game stores are a pillar in Magic the Gathering. That's how you meet people, and that's where I feel like the life of the game really resides, are at these Magic Fests and these local game stores when you don't have a Magic Fest near you. They're very important, and it's a great way to get involved in the community as well.
And I know it's so easy to go on Magic Arena and not have to deal with people, but if some of the best people you'll meet in your life are at a local game store, and you'll meet some of the best friends you can meet in your life. As Espen said at the beginning of this episode, me and Espen met at the local game store that I was helping run and judging at in our hometown. And it was a good time, and it evolved into doing YouTube stuff. You know, we went to college together and went to do this, and it's been a good experience. And like I said, you meet some of your best friends, you meet some good people, and you learn a lot more about the game through face-to-face interaction that you're not going to get playing Magic Arena or Magic Online.
Right.
And I think it should be, Wizards should stress and make sure that local game stores are getting the care and the respect that they deserve, because these things are what built the card game in the first place.
Oh, for sure.
And to deny and not give them any support, I think is a big mistake on Wizards' part. So who knows where it's going to go in the next few years. I mean, local game stores are, from what I see, are fairly stable right now. I don't know the grand scheme of like the United States, but I know here in Michigan, local game stores don't close very often. They're pretty stable along with staying open, and they seem to be making fairly decent profits. Of course, that's a local game store. There's not crazy profits in certain areas, but besides, so another thing we wanted to highlight our feelings on were Magic Fest. And this is an event that we're huge fans of.
Huge.
Channel Fireball does these amazing events called Magic Fest. And coming out fairly soon, within the next batch of recordings, we're going to do a video highlighting and talking about Magic Fest more in depth. We just want to talk about our general feelings here in this episode, though. And wow, Magic Fests are an experience of a lifetime.
They're insane.
I mean, so many vendors, the artists, the community that gathers together to go to these Magic Fests. I mean, it's phenomenal to see. And, you know, I was able to build my first CEDH deck at a Magic Fest, and I was able to do a lot of trading and wheeling and dealing. And heck, I traded in about a quarter of a box of bulk commander cards, and I ended up getting a Badlands.
Yeah,
that
was crazy when you came back with it. I was like,
it's like
insane.
This was an experience of a lifetime. And that was down in Columbus. That wasn't too long ago. I mean, it was months ago, but and we want to make sure we know this again. We are going to Magic Fest Detroit. There's been an issue with the shipping of the promotional items that I ordered, so I have no clue if I'll get those in time or not. But we will be there for the 41, I think, is the number of you that are subscribed. If any of the 41 of you want to come and hang out and play some CDH or play some Commander in general with you, feel free to hit us up. So, Espen, what are some of your feelings on Magic Fest?
Well, the first Magic Fest I ever went to was last year in Detroit when you're really like, hey, you gotta come, you won't regret it, and I went and I did not regret it in the slightest. It was such an amazing experience seeing all the artists, seeing all the people, and just so many people to talk to and share ideas with, and this is a really fantastic experience. I haven't gone to many big events, but this one was these events are just something that you'll never forget, and you'll meet some great people. You have a fun time. There's so much you can do there. You can trade in, sell, buy. You can find some pretty good deals on some cards even, which is also really, really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Magic Fests they're a monster of their own. And I think the most fun you ever have in your life is going to one of these events. So much fun, such a good community for the most part. And we'll get to more of that in the body of this video. So before we move on, I just want to encourage you guys to like, share, subscribe, and comment. As we say every episode, it means the world to us, and we always say it at the end of the introduction because, we think this is a pivotal point to bring this up. This channel means a lot to us. It took us a lot to get this going, and we pulled a lot of strings, and we've had the time of our life. And like we said before, it doesn't matter if our videos get 1 million views or they get 1 view. 1 view is enough to make us go on, and just the feedback we get on some of the videos and the few likes we get, it's wow, even if it's 4 likes we get, 4 people appreciate the video enough to go out of their way to click the like button. So it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying, and if this ever takes off and gets bigger, I'm sure we'll be out of our minds excited for if that happens. So, well, going on to the body of this video, we want to talk about some things that we appreciate most about about Magic in general. And I want to start off with something that can be a little bit divisive at times. And right before recording this episode, we talked about whether or not to include this, uninclude this. But I think when we talk about the good, we have to talk about the ugly and bad. So this is the competition of Magic the Gathering. Now, for the most part, at your local game stores, the competition will be fine. And we'll get to a story about this in a minute. And every local game store I've been to that I've actually played competitively at, the competition has been great. I haven't had anybody. But let's talk about the competition at bigger events. Events with prize money on the line. Events that are big. And this could be LGS. This could be Magic Fest. This could be... These things are
no joke.
Yeah, these things are no joke.
Playing for a prize.
Competitive REL. The rules enforcement level events. So... Ellie Warfield recently tweeted, probably a month ago or so, that sometimes people take advantage of her. I think she has a hearing problem. I could not be 100% certain, but she had something where she can't hear very well, and that sometimes people take advantage of that. And I have been taken advantage of because of my niceness in games too, where people will do things so fast and not let the stack resolve correctly, and make things hard to respond to. And we just want to say here, please call a judge. If someone is fast playing to where you can't respond, call a judge. If someone is talking quiet or won't communicate with you, call a judge. If someone is taking 20 minutes to sideboard, and these are all things I've been through personally, please call a judge. Don't let someone take advantage of you because you're nice. Because unfortunately, most of the players in the Magic community are nice and aren't predatory. But it's the few that are predatory are the ones that they will take advantage of you, and it won't be a fun experience for you. It won't be a fun experience. You'll get sour about the event, and call a judge. Important. And this brings up a story that I think needs to be addressed. So we've talked about in our hometown. Our hometown is in mid-Michigan, and it's about a half hour from Flint. And there was a store that I worked at there. And this store and me and the owner had a really good relationship. And the store ended up getting sold to a new group. This new group came in, and whether or not that's been good or bad isn't for us to say. What is for us to say is a situation that happened at the store that, to our knowledge, has not been solved.
Yeah.
There was an F&M, so not even a non-RL event. One of the employees of the store was playing against a little kid who was just learning the game and had some jankier cards in his deck.
Mm-hmm.
An experienced player who's a good friend of ours was sitting next to them watching the game. The young kid plays, I think, an Oathsworn Knight, which enters with counters, I believe. And the kid was going to miss the counters. So our friend Patrick says, hey, look, it comes in with some counters. Just don't forget that. Not a big deal, because at the old way we used to play, we used to remind each other of that stuff all the time.
All the time,
It's not REL, so it's not that serious.
You're not playing for like $1,000 cash prize or anything.
It's for a couple packs at an F&M. Like, not a big deal. So anyways, this employee of the store starts freaking out and yelling, saying that this kid failed to maintain the board state, that it is wrong, and he was wrong for reminding him to put the counters on, and acted like what could literally be said as a child. And I just want to say I do not condone that. And this store has had quite the bit of controversy with a lot of stuff since it took over a shop that I really loved. And
I both loved,
unfortunately, with this experience and many other personal experiences, which we're not going to share today, we will not be ever going to that shop ever again. It's unfortunate, because it doesn't seem like we're appreciated there like it used to seem like. So besides the point, we just wanted to bring up, and by the way, maintaining a board state is on both players. It's on both players to maintain a board state. So at an REL event, both players would have gotten a warning, or at very least a warning for failure to maintain the board state. So it's just unfortunate that even at LGSs, the issue of competition can come up and be very toxic. But I want to say this. Magic in general is not a toxic game. Magic in general, especially with the celebrities of the game and the higher up people and the people that take it very seriously, they range from personalities, but for the most part, they are just there for some good competition and want to have fun. And most people aren't toxic.
No,
don't let anyone tell you. I've talked with thousands of Magic players at Magic Fest, at local game stores we go to, because we go to several. And these people are good, genuine people that just want to play a card game. And don't let the toxic minority, the loud toxic minority, stop you from enjoying this game. Because at an REL event, it's simple as calling a judge, and if it keeps happening, call a judge. And that's what the judges are there for. But overall, I just want to get off the serious point and get into the more light point. The competition is great. 99% of the time, it's healthy, it's fun. You get some of the best games of your life. And most of the time, you don't feel bad. And that's one of the things I appreciate about this game is the competition. And this goes about the community too. Don't let the toxic minority stop you. A majority of this community is good people that just want to play a game. And I've pretty much droned on because I felt like we really needed to get that out about competition, because I don't want to put that on you, Espen, because
no, it's fine.
Because I know our experiences with the game, I've played for quite a bit longer than you have, but I felt like I needed to get this out so you didn't have to have the stress of saying that. So I'll pose to you, what are some of the things that you appreciate the most about this game?
As I said before, I love the community and how supportive people are, especially towards new players. Whenever I see a new player, I'll help them out. Maybe they ask me about a deck. The other day at a local game store, I was doing a draft, and kid was drafting. He drafted a few times before, but he wasn't sure how to deck build. So he asked for my advice, what he should do. So I stepped in and I helped him out. And then he asked me about different cards for different decks, what he needs help here and there. And I never complained. I was just like, sure, because I want this game to last for a very long time. And in order to do that, we have to be supportive to new players and to the younger generations that are starting to play this game. Because that's how Magic is going to continue to grow and thrive, is through them. And I just love how supportive people are. When I first started playing, I played really goofy decks. I didn't know what I was doing. there are times where I might have played a banned card or two that I didn't know about in standard, but like no one yelled at me. They're like, "Oh yeah, just change it," because it wasn't for a competitive event. But just seeing how people come together to help one another or generate new ideas, it just feels really, really good. I really love people coming together, talking, becoming friends, and the community is just super healthy in my opinion from what I have seen. The community that I have been around is really good. The local game stores are very healthy, and the community is. And again, it's just I love the people that play Magic the Gathering, and sometimes you find the best people in the world playing this game. It's just a really fun game to play with one another, socialize, and share ideas.
Yeah, it's absolutely great, and we even go to the only WPN premium store in Michigan in Pandemonium, in Garden City, and we go there and play quite often. I don't want to say what days, but we go and play, at least once a week. We go out there and play, and even at this WPM premium store, and this is a big store. This is a big store. The players there are always willing to talk. They're always willing to have a good game. And I will admit, I had one this last weekend I went to play Pioneer. I had a kind of a bad feel with one of the games because it was kind of, we both resolved a Leyline of the Void. It was like, oh, well, I guess it's who gets their Assassin's Trophy or Reclamation Stage first just wins. And unfortunately, it was not me. And don't worry, the other guy was just as miserable that game because it was literally playland pass. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because those games happen, and you can't let bad games deter you from enjoying an experience at a game store. And so this kind of segues into another important issue about the Magic community is paper magic. It's not an issue, but there's been some question as of fairly recently whether or not paper magic is here to stay. And first, I would like to give the obvious thing. Wizards, you just print money. Like, what you print is actually just money. I don't claim to know the expenses and, like, the cost of printing all the Magic cards, but I can't imagine that they don't make insane profits off of, a good set. I can't imagine that they don't turn a big profit. And, like, even with the secret layers, those are literally just a few cards, and they sell them for $30-$40. They make money on. Maybe what? For the sake of argument, we'll say it's 25 cents a card. You print 4 cards at 25 cents. You sell it for $30. That's a massive massive profit.
Yeah.
Like, I think Wizards, like I said, I hate to use the word dumb, but I think they'd be dumb to get rid of paper magic.
For sure.
Paper magic is just cash money, and it helps people make a living too. Vendors make livings off of paper magic. Local game stores make a living off paper magic.
Right.
What you guys do, Wizards, is you make an economy where you make your profits, and then other people are able to make their profits. And I think it's a very healthy thing, honestly.
It's great, and I want paper magic to stay around for a long time. Because like even like the online vendors such as Card Kingdom or TCG Player that sell all their product as well. Like it's a whole, like you said, it's its own economy, which is so awesome to see happen just over this game of cardboard. But like this, and this happens because of how many of the community, and it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, the Wizards, you literally only print money, and I think you'd be foolish to not want to keep continuing printing money. That's all I have to say. If I was running a big company and I could print a Force of Will and I could make $100 off it, I'd be like, okay, I'll print that in packs and sell 1 billion packs and make a bunch of money. It's like, and we hope paper magic stays around for a long time. It's an integral part of the game. And I think, like I said, I think they'd be foolish to get rid of paper magic. I think a lot of communities would fall off. And unfortunately, I don't think MTG Arena, you can't play Commander on it. It's not built to play 4-player Commander. So you're going to lose a lot of players, and you're going to force us to play on Moto. Like, we could talk about Moto, and Moto has some flaws.
And also what you can get, my favorite part that you can't get from playing online is that social interaction with people, which I feel like is the point of Magic the Gathering, is getting people together to play this card game that we all enjoy and love.
Absolutely.
And that's why I believe that Paper Magic is here to stay.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue to stay. Yes, I know technology usually takes over older ways, but I want to say this here, that Paper Magic is here to stay.
Oh, yeah. Like, technology takes over typically in things that become obsolete, or I want to say obsolete or less income generating, per se, where they doesn't make money. Paper is not obsolete, and making money is not obsolete with Paper Magic.
Not at all.
So if you like making money and you like making people happy, I mean, you have it there in Paper Magic.
Yeah, there you go.
And we can have both. It doesn't have to be MTG Arena or Paper Magic.
We can have both.
We can have both.
That's what we have right now. It's very healthy.
We have both, and it's going great. I mean, Magic players are still on the rise, and like we have both, and it's okay to have both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And I feel like sometimes companies fall into that mentality of, well, we have this new product and this old product. It has to be the new one. Well, no, because if the old one's still making money and people are enjoying it, why get rid of the old one?
Right.
So that was just a quick talk, and we wanted to give our appreciation to Wizards of the Coast R&D and anyone else involved in creating the card game. We know you guys take a lot of crap for stuff such as Oko, which, while the criticisms are fair, we just want to say it's don't let it discourage you from making the game as good as it can be and as healthy as it can be. I would say even though Pioneer is kind of at the point where it's got more of an established meta, I think Pioneer is the most fun I've had playing Constructed in a long, long time.
I would agree with that as well. It's so much fun.
Pioneer, and we go to Pandemonium on one day of the week, and the metas there is so diverse.
Oh, yeah.
Even though like Inverter and Lotus Breach are like arguably the best two decks, maybe. There's
as of this
video, it's like we have Esper Control. There's two blue-white controls. There's Sultai Delirium, which that's another good deck. There's an Inverter deck. There's a Lotus Breach deck. There's some random janky stuff. There's a guy that plays Soul Flare at Pando.
Oh.
It's like there is such a healthy mix, and this is a WPN premium store.
Yeah.
The only one in the state of Michigan. And like this store is no joke with its competition, and people are willing to play all this different type of stuff. You know, there's mono red. There's all different types of stuff. And I think that goes to show that this format is as healthy as it's ever been. I think it's ever gonna be.
Oh, for sure.
Because who knows what Ikoria will bring? Who knows what Core Set 2020 or 2021?
Yeah.
Who knows what Core Set 2021 will bring? Who knows what the next Zendikar set will bring? But what we can be sure of is that right now, where we're living, Pioneer is as healthy as it's ever been, and
it's beautiful.
This is thanks to R&D doing the aggressive bans, doing the testing to make sure that this format would be fun to play in the first place.
Exactly.
So we just want to say thank you, R&D, and anyone else that's on Play Design. Gavin Verhey, I believe, is on Play Design. Thank you so much for creating this format in particular. Now, Modern could use some work, and we'll talk about that another time. But that was my favorite format. Pioneer has taken over for Modern, but it could be both. We can have Modern, Pioneer. We can have Standard.
Both is fine.
We can have we can have all of it. It's okay. So we just wanted to make sure that we showed our appreciation to you guys for the work that you do and making some of these formats the most fun they've ever been.
Yeah.
And so our final point we want to talk about is our enjoyment of the game. And besides all the few negative things we talked about, and besides all the good stuff we've talked about, overall, this game is a solid 10 out of 10. It's fun. It could be interactive or it could not be. It can be slow. It can be fast. This game is literally what you make of it. And I think that's my favorite part about this card game, is this game is literally what you make it. And it's so much fun. And overall, no matter what happens to Magic, I always have fun. Because if Pioneer ever gets unhealthy and it takes a while for Wizards to do something about it, I can just play Commander. I can play CEDH. And like, there's always another format or another way to play this game that you could go to if you're unhappy with another way.
And I wanted to go off a point where you said that this game is where you make it. This is where that is my favorite part, is that as a player, you literally can play whatever you want, whether it's good, whether it's bad, take some risk, play what you think you enjoy. Like the first deck I've ever built was some casual blue mill blocker deck, but it didn't matter. It was really bad, but it was lots of fun nonetheless. And that's the point of the game, is just like you just have this freedom that you don't, like a lot of games you have like blinders on where like there's only one right way to do things. Or Magic, you can do whatever you want and still have a functioning deck. It might not be good, but as long as you have fun, I believe that is the world. That is the point of this game, is to have fun, and the ability to have that freedom to play whatever cards you want is just astounding.
Absolutely. And before we move on to the outro of this episode, we just wanted to mention another thing between the outro and the body. We really, since we don't get like a whole lot of feedback on our episodes, we just want to know, what do you guys think of the way we do our deck we do our deck list episodes? We did one episode where we did the full 199 and the Commander, and we felt like that episode was kind of miserable, at least for us, because we kind of skimmed through a bunch of cards. We kind of like the format of us highlighting about 3 cards per thing that we find interesting about the deck and putting the deck list in the description. But let us know how you guys feel about the deck, about the way we do deck list videos. We're always looking for feedback, and we always want to improve. Our motto for this channel and for ourselves personally is to improve every day and be better than we were the last episode. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and go to the outro of this episode. And we just want to say some final thoughts on the community. Overall, community's great. It's great.
It's spectacular. The
celebrities, the owners of, or the people that are on R&D, it's great. This game is probably the most fun card game that I would say is out there. And Magic has created some things, and we talked about this before episode, and we won't mention other games. This is a Magic episode, but the stack in Magic, we just use that in most card games, because it's in most card games with like any interaction, because it's like, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
They have created something that it just makes sense how it works.
And it's so brilliant to the point that it's actually something derived from a specific thing in either mathematics or computer science, because I was in one of my college classes, and it was literally called, all right, we're going to be covering the stack today. And they asked, what's a stack? I raised my hand. I was like, well, you see, and they're like, how'd you learn this? I was like, from a card game.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. It's just a brilliant game and like the stack is just the best part of Magic the Gathering, I would say. It's one of the best parts of the card game.
100%. And this game is overall just a phenomenon, I have to say. It's a really good card game, and we just have to take care of the younger players and the new players, and this game will continue growing and getting better. And so I think it's time that we head to the end of this episode. And as we said last week, we were going to do a recap on an episode for this episode. So instead of an anime suggestion of the week, we're going to call this segment the Anime Mid-Season Recap. And we're a little bit ahead of mid-season, but that doesn't matter. By the time this episode goes live, it'll be episode 9 will be out, I believe.
Right.
And it'll be near the end. But from where we're at, this episode is where we're at about mid-season as of recording of this episode. So this anime we've talked about when we first did this segment is Seton Academy Join the Pack. This anime has just got better. It's gotten more adorable. It's gotten more funny. It's just gotten better as the as episodes have gone on. And so I think me and Espen will kind of go back and forth on some of our characters and give our opinions. So Espen, I'll let you, out of this list of new characters since we last talked about it, what's one that you really want to talk about? I know there's one that I think you'll talk about, but that's your favorite character. But
Arka's older sister, Farrell, is just awesome. I love her energy, and like it's she's older, but like she's still like so adorable. Like she has moments where she puts on like a tough act, which is like really awesome to see. But then like she has like a really like warm heart. Like she has a really sweet side. Yeah, which is just like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like her older sister is so awesome and would do anything in the world. And it's just so goofy.
And compared to Ranka, Farrell is massive
compared to most of the animals that we see. It's just, or most of the characters, I should say. It's just insane.
Yeah, how big she is. She's a tall character, huge. And so I'll just talk about this interesting character because this character goes through an interesting kind of dilemma. So I don't know the full story behind it, but in Japan, there's some tales about hyenas because if anyone knows about the biology of hyenas, it can be tough to tell the difference between a male hyena and a female hyena. Right. So there's this character named Yenna, and how do I refer to this character correctly without offending anyone? She is a female hyena at birth, but she didn't realize that female hyenas also have a certain biological thing that male hyenas have. Oh. So she grows up thinking that she's a male. And so in this anime, female characters and male characters are distinguished by their looks, where male characters in this anime look like the animal. They're bipedal of the animal, where female characters are human females with characteristics of the animal. So like ears, tail, maybe some other facial looks. So Yenna looks like a female, but she wants to be a male. And in this anime, she goes through this change where she's like, okay, maybe I do want to be female. And then she's like, nope, I am a male, and proceeds to be the badass that he is. So Yenna, very interesting character. Very funny how they kind of poke fun at the hey, very ambiguous gender-wise, and I think that's fine. Yeah. I think that's fine. So, Espen, who's the next character you want to highlight?
I really like Kurumi, who's kind of like the ghost member of the club. She's not there all the time, but like when she is there, it's always fun to see. It's always an interesting time meeting when she meets like new members as well, and having them join the club. She's just a character. She's just so goofy, and I think a lot of these characters, they have their own like goofy aspect about them, which is why I love like all these characters. And Kurumi is just one of those ones that like she's always there, but when she's there,
and she's a cat.
Yeah, she is a cat.
She's a cat. Yeah, and so I'll knock out a pair of characters here that are pretty entangled with each other, and that's King and Shiho. So King he's a lion, and he was the top of the food chain, as lions are considered in the wild. Top of the food chain, and he had a harem, as male lions do in real life. So, however, he is in love with a gazelle named Shiho, and oh boy, that causes for some interesting times. Yeah. So when he first confesses his love to her, he cuts his mane off to show that he doesn't need his harem to make him happy. Yeah. He only needs her. And oh, it's so sad. I don't want to spoil too much, but let's just say they have an interesting dynamic. Shio is a gazelle, and poor King. All he wants is to be happy with her, and it never works out. So, Espen, what's another character that you want to highlight?
I really also like Mei Mei. The panda. I just recently watched the last couple of episodes that are up to date right now and as of recording, and she's very funny. She's used to getting her way, and then she meets Jin, who
he's the male lead.
Yeah, the male lead who, as you know, isn't.
kind of mean.
Yeah, kind of mean. And it's just funny to see how they react with each other as well.
Yeah, it's definitely, and Mei is a panda.
Mm-hmm.
And so next character we're going to talk about is Miyubi, and she's a sloth, and she is probably the funniest character in this whole series. She always dies.
Always.
Everything she does, she dies. If she overexplains herself, she dies. As sloths do, because sloths are, as we know, very, very slow and kind of lazy. Mm-hmm. And there's an episode in which she's training for this big triathlon type event, and she gets sick, and she kind of saves the day at getting near the end of the episode.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, Espen, we have 2 characters left, and I think I don't think you really remember one of them, so I'll let you take the one I think you'll take.
I'm gonna say Yukari, koala. Okay. Yeah, the koala came on, or Yukari came on very early in the 3rd or even 2nd episode. I don't know, but early on, and is always around there. And she's also a character. She's really funny, and she's always super helpful to the club. She's always there and ready to do whatever the club wants to do, mm-hmm. and really is a great character.
Yeah, and during her first little appearance, she was trying to find a taste that she never found before, and turns out that taste was something that we can't say on this podcast for the sake of it being PG-13. So yeah, it's funny though.
It's funny.
And so this final character. Now, there's a discrepancy between what she calls herself in the anime and on the wiki page. Mm-hmm. On the anime, she refers to herself as Tel, mm-hmm. and on the wiki page, she refers to herself as it's referred to as Teru. Mm-hmm. So she is this little lowly honey badger, and I can see Mike behind the camera smiling because he knows that we're gonna make a joke about him liking lolies. But besides the point, she is a little lowly honey badger, and she just wants to join Feral, Ranka's older sister's pack. Mm-hmm. And she goes throughout her episode, she's introduced trying to fight Ranka. And eventually, at the end of the episode, she gets jumped by these lions. And honey badgers are tough. They're tough. They can take a beating. Yeah. And so she takes the beating, and Yenna deals with the lions. And then Feral is like, he just has enough with her trying to join her pack, and slams the honey badger into the ground. And the honey badger's like, wow, you hurt me. This feels kind of good. And it's like, oh, wow. And it's like crazy. And Ranka's like, oh, well, you added a non-wolf to your pack. And Ranka's sister, being the caring one that loves Ranka so much, is like, yes, you're part of my pack now. And very, very adorable and stuff. And she's a adorable character in general. Mm-hmm. Well, we went on a little bit longer than we usually do about the anime, especially the past couple of episodes. Well, as usual, we gush a lot, and we hope this episode has a little bit of a lighter tone. I know we had a little bit of a serious spot about the episode, but overall, it was fun.
It was fun.
So, for the Brass Gaming Podcast, I'm Christian.
And I'm Espen.
And we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.